Thank you guys once again for tuning in. I am Pastor Marcus, and this is Maximize Your Life. It is great. My TGMites, my TGM Bible study crew, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming. My Facebook Live crew, thank you guys for tuning in. My TGM television crew, thank you guys for tuning in. I want to let you know next week, I will be going live from my page on Facebook, Minister Marcus, the fan page. Go like it. Go share one of your favorite quotes. I will be going live from that page, but we are going to upload our lesson on Friday to our YouTube channel. So with that, here what we do at Maximize Your Life, I highlight biblical principles for daily application. And so I take biblical principles, things that we can use and apply to our everyday life, whether stated directly or indirectly, and I highlight the principle things that we can do and we can use in our everyday life. So tonight is a continue from last week. Last week's lesson, y'all remember the topic for last week's lesson? Last week's lesson was patience in the process. Yeah, and we came from James chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. Tonight is another part. Is not a conclusion because there's so many lessons that go with this. But the other flip side to that is tonight is progress in the process. Progress in the process. James chapter 1, verse 2, 3, and 4. Progress in the process. Amen. Progress in the process. All right. My Bible is going to read different, okay? But you guys can follow it on solid. James chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Consider it, count it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patient endurance. And let patience have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Yeah. All right. I want us to say this after me. Say, I will progress, in my process. In my process. That's good. I love it. I will progress in my process. All right. What I'm going to start with, last week, we talked about patience in the process. And what we dealt with last week was how God deals with us on a personal level to change and transform us and make us better as Christians. Yeah. I like to say it like this: development in our character. And so what we talked about last week was that there are times that God has us in places that we don't move as fast as we think that we should move, and things don't happen as fast as we think that they should happen, but it's not the time for us to quit. But those are the times that God is building our patience, he's building our endurance, and he's building our strength. He's building our Christian character, but we have to learn not to complain while God has us in his processing. We have to learn to be patient and allow God to do his work in us. And so today we're going to take it a step further, because during the process, while you're in the process, and we are still talking about the development of Christian character, I want us to consider how God develops us as Christians. How does God develop us? Somebody will tell you, when you come to church and you give the preacher your hand and you say, I want to live the Christian life, some people will tell you that everything about you changes immediately, right then. I want to put that to rest right now, because if that was the case, when Jesus called the disciples, they wouldn't have no need to be disciples. He would have just called them apostles. The reason why they had to go through discipleship is because God had to develop their character. That does not happen overnight. And I want to stress that, because so many times, so many Christians are judgmental about people who are not perfect just because they come in wanting to do better, but have not yet came to that next place of growth and maturity. You understand what I'm saying? And so I want to kind of highlight, how then does God develop our Christian character. And I want to start right here. Consider how you learn things in school. Consider how you learn things in school. What the teacher did, she taught you a concept, right? And she gave you a piece of paper with a bunch of problems, right? She gave you a sheet of paper with a bunch of problems, but they were to cover the concept or the lesson that she had just taught you, right? And so then when she gives you the problems are now for you to apply the lesson that she just gave you in order to reach the solution to the problem. Are you following? Yeah. And so what happens is in school, that's what you continually do. You learn concepts, then they give you problems. You use the concepts or the lessons that you learn to solve the problems. They continue to do that for the whole entire year. And from the time you come in third grade to the time you leave the third grade, at the end of third grade, you don't realize it, but you are no longer at a third grade level. You are on a fourth grade level, right? And it happens from pre-K all the way to 12. Right? You don't realize it, but all of this time of lessons, problems, solutions, lessons, problems, solutions, your mind, you don't realize it from a day to day, but what your mind has done, your mind has been slowly elevating. Your process of thought has been slowly elevating. Your problem solving skills have been slowly elevating, and you don't see it on a day-to-day, but at the end of the grade, you see how far you have come just by learning concepts, having problems, and finding solutions, right? I want us to understand that God works the exact same way. We have a Bible that we read, right? The Bible gives us concepts or lessons, right? Now, God does not create problems, but he does not stop problems. I want you to get it. So now, if you have a lesson in school, the problem is there. The lesson, the concept is the lesson, right? The problems now is where you take what you learn and apply it, right? And that then brings the lesson to life so that you can find a solution. Now, when we put that in the same category with God, we seem to think that we are going to progress in our life without seeing any problems. My question is, how do you know that you understand the concept if there is no problem to apply it? How do you grow then from concept to concept if there are no problems to make you elevate your thinking? I want us to consider that because so many times when we have issues in our life, we have challenges, when we have problems, we see them as things that are against the will of God. But I want us to start considering in our mind that maybe the problems that we have are allowed by God to help us to elevate our thinking. I want you to get it. From a 5th grade level of understanding to a 6th grade level of understanding, nothing happens except lessons, problems, and then solutions. So then when you say, how then does God develop my Christian character? There are going to be problems. That's the whole point. The point is that if you want to see growth, you have got to be ready to deal with and handle problems. James poses the thought that problems may be serving a more significant purpose in our life than to frustrate us. Then the question becomes, so then how then do you respond to your problems? Minister Marcus, how do you respond to your problems? Most of us get annoyed. I get annoyed. I get frustrated. Most of us get frustrated, and we get so frustrated and annoyed. Some of us get discouraged. We get so discouraged that we no longer look for solutions. We only look to complain about the problem. Here's the question, though. The question is, how do you respond to your problem? How do you know? And this is what I love to say because God works in such mysterious and controversial ways so many times. How do you know that the problem is not there just for you to elevate your thinking? How do you know that God has not sent you the problem, the issue that you're facing, just so that you can take the lesson from the Bible that you read and apply it to the problem and allow it to elevate your thinking so that you can think above the problem and come up with a solution? Here's what I've discovered. A lot of times the solutions to my problems end up being new resources, new revelations that take me into different places of my life. And so then I say it like this: God basically uses the problem as a catalyst for growth. Consider that. Consider that. God, what if the thing, think of I want us all to put a problem that we are facing in our minds right now. It could be a financial problem. It could be a relationship problem. It could be a social problem. It could be a spiritual problem. It could be an obstacle in your life. Consider a problem in your life. Now I want you to consider that the solution to that problem is going to take you to your next level. Consider that. Consider the worst problem that you have can turn out to be the best solution that you can come up with. Consider that. Consider that God has created a problem because he wants you. I like that. I'm feeling that right there. He wants you to turn your mind on and think. If we stop complaining long enough to access. Oh, come on. I had to tell my sons this. You don't have to guess if you use your brain. Let me tell us Christians something. You don't have to get frustrated if you use your brain. You don't have to get annoyed if you use your brain. You don't have to complain if you use that rhyme. You don't have to complain if you use your brain. I want y'all to say that. You don't have to complain if you use your brain. You ain't got to complain. I love it because what I feel like so many times we jump on the defensive because we feel like God is sending us unnecessary problems when really God is trying to get us to our next level. We got to learn to see our problems as opportunities. We got to learn to see our problems as opportunities for growth and level up. I love that word, level up. We got to see our problems as our level up. This is how I overcome. I overcome because while everybody else is complaining about the rain, I'm figuring out how can I succeed. Come on, I'm figuring out how can I overcome and dominate in the rain. It's a recession. Everybody complaining about a recession. I'm not complaining. I'm thinking about how can I overcome this and still dominate. You understand what I'm saying? How can I overcome this problem? Not how I can sit around and complain and say, "Oh, this man holding me down. Oh, this not happening. Oh, this happening. Oh, this coming against me. I'll never do it. I'll never see it. I'll never make it. Why this happening? Why this got to happen? I ain't looking at that. While everybody else is complaining, I'm thinking of ways of how I can beat it. How can I make $1 million in 3 months? Come on. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but my mind is not on the issue. My mind is on my solution. We got to learn to think of solutions. Problems are designed to force you to elevate your thinking. The problems is there to help stretch your mind and create creativity and elevate your process of thought. And so James says this. He says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. And now I want us to get this. We are not, let me say this. Let me say this for all you saved people out there that love to watch Minister Marcus, you super saved, super holy folk that love to watch Minister Marcus. I appreciate you. But God does not call us to be fake. God does not call us to act like we are not affected by the things in the world. He does not call us to put on the air like we are not touched by humanity. He does not call us to be fake. What James is saying here is saying we have to learn to continue to have a positive outlook. Okay. He says, count it our joy. My question is, how do you count it? Do you count it as a loss or do you count it as a lesson? Do you count it as a setback or do you count it as a setup? He says, count it all joy. How do you look at the situations that come at you? You know what? I think this, we as Christians have to develop the kind of mindset that is able to see the positive. I did a lesson a few months ago talking about the power of perspective. It is how you look at a situation that determines how you handle a situation situation. Too many times we put a negative label on our situations, and then we can't deal with them in a positive way because our minds are trained in negative. But if you are able to look at a situation and still be able to see the positive in the situation, I believe that you'll be able to come up with a positive solution. I think that we have to learn to see our problems as positives. What is your attitude and your outlook on your problems? Can you see the possibility that good can come from a bad situation? Can you see the possibility that God can work impossible situations to become possible situations? Can you see it? Consider what you learned from it. Consider what you could learn from it. I want us to understand when James says, count it all joy, he's talking about the power of perspective. The verses show a process by which God develops our Christian character. And I love James because what it talks about is talking about a molding. And I love that he highlights the mindset of how you see it and count it all joy because the trying of your faith works patience. The trying of your faith works patience. The trying of your faith works patience. It's how God takes us from one place to the next place. Here's what we got to understand, us as Christians. And I'm going to start right here at 15 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm going to start right here. In order to know where you're going, you have to first be able to see where you are. I'm going to say that again. In order to see and understand where you're going and how you're going to get there, you have to be able to see where you are. I think the problem with many Christians nowadays is that we can see everybody else and where they are, but we cannot look in the mirror and see ourselves. We can point out the beam, we can point out the mote in somebody else's eye, the pebble and rocks in other people's eyes, but we don't see the boulder in our own eye. We can point out the little sticks in everybody else, but we can't see the log in our own self. And I love it because God can see the real you. We can't always see the truth about ourselves. And this is where processing comes in, because what you choose not to see, or what you choose to not look at in the mirror, God has a way of showing you who you really are. And now the purpose for processing is to get me from one level, right, to the next level. If it was so easy, I would already be doing it myself. But the issue is that I can't see. I'm not going to say I can't see. I don't turn my same judgmental eye on myself that I do on other people, right? So God often uses situations to bring us to a deeper knowledge and revelation, not just of Him, but a deeper revelation and knowledge of ourselves. How do you know? And here's the thing. Now we going back to school. How does the teacher know a subject that you having trouble in? How does the teacher know the place that you need help in? Why? Because when you took the test, there were some things that you did good on. Come on, I want y'all to walk with me tonight. There was something that you did mediocre on, and there was something you were just flat out bad at. Here's what God does. When He sends you through the test is designed to reveal your weak points, your strong points, your mediocre points, right? So I want us to understand processing. Processing is, how does God reveal it to me? He gives me a test. He gives me a test. He runs me through a process, a series of tests, because He wants to see where my attitude is. Can I maintain Christian character when everybody else is not maintaining Christian character? Can I stand on what I believe when ain't nobody else caring, when ain't nobody around, when people from church ain't around me? How am I going to react then? How am I going to respond to somebody saying something that I don't like this? You understand what I'm saying? Can you maintain genuine Christian composure when you're being treated unfair? The test is designed to expose and reveal your flaws and weak points. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. Are you passing the test? Or are you failing? I want us all to give ourselves a progress report tonight. We are all in the process of being tested and being revealed. We are all in the process of seeing ourselves for who we really are. And we are talking about progress in the process. The only way you can progress is if you see where you are. Give yourself a progress progress report tonight, right now. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to consider all of the places and all of the things that you may not have a passing grade in tonight. Is it attitude? Look at that. Look. Is it attitude? Come on. Is it attitude? Is it spending? Are we managing our money the way that God said to manage it? Are we managing our time the way that God said to manage it? Give yourself a progress report tonight. This is your How will you progress? Come on. How will you progress if you do not know where you are in your process? How will you progress if you do not know where you are in your process? Tonight, we are talking about progress in the process. Give yourself a progress report. Are you passing or are you failing? Your progress report tonight is intended to show you what you need to work on. What grades do you need to bring up in what areas? Your progress report tonight is going to show you what grades you need tutorials in. Lord, look at that. Lord, give me a tutor class in how not to go off on people when they cut me off. Come on, Lord, you got to give me a tutorial class on how to maintain my Christian character while I'm in that car, Jesus. Come on, I want us to understand that it's okay to come as you are, but it's not okay to stay as you come. And I want us to understand this, that sometimes we have to take that look at ourselves in the mirror. Why is that necessary? Why is that important? I want to bless you tonight because sometimes it's not my mama. It's not my daddy. Come on, y'all. It's not my sister, not my brother, but it's me, oh Lord, that's standing in the need of prayer. And I want us to see that tonight because there is no way that you can grow if you cannot accurately see yourself. And so tonight, I want us to get it. God has us in the process to reveal the things that are not as good about us. But I love the verse because the verse said, let patience have her perfect work. Let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect, complete, and entire, lacking in nothing. I want us to get this, that God works to bring us to a place of complete maturity. Here's my question tonight. For all you so-saved people out there, and I'm sorry, I'm not harping on you, so I'm not. I love the saved people, the holy people, the righteous people. I love us. But my question tonight is, what good is it for you to have an A in spiritual maturity, but have a C- in mental maturity? What good is it for you to have an A+ in spiritual maturity, but have a D in emotional maturity? Can't nobody say nothing to you without you getting an attitude, but you high spiritually. What good is it? I want us to understand something. God wants us to be complete, mature Christians, and that is just not spirit walk. That is a mental understanding. A mental maturity. That is an emotional maturity. Come on. I want us to understand that God wants us to be complete. I say this all the time. He don't want us to just be healed. He wants us to be whole. He wants us to be complete. I pray you prosper as your soul prosper. And I believe that he's talking about the complete anatomy of the man, the complete anatomy of the human being. We are not just spiritual beings. We are physical beings. We are emotional beings. We are mental beings. And so we have to take the same amount of time that we apply to growing spiritually to understand and apply to growing mentally and emotionally. Because we need to be able to handle ourselves in the world. There is no way you are going to be helpful to anybody. There is no way you're going to excel in life if you don't understand mental and emotional maturity along with spiritual maturity. God would have us to be complete. And so some experiences God allows in order to force us to grow up. We talk, oh God, look, ouch and amen. We got to progress in our process. Let patience have her perfect work. And God has you in a position tonight. Some of us is going through stuff, you know why? Just so that God can force us to grow up. This is what God did to me. God did this to me because I was so immature, but I was talking tough like I was a man.
Yeah, come on.
And God had to allow some things to happen to me personally to make me get up and get a job.
Yeah.
To make me get up and learn to stand on my own 2 feet. For me to get up and be able to deal with things without whining, without complaining, and stand there and take it because I am the man that God has called me to be. Are you understanding what I'm saying tonight? There are some things that God leaves you in because he wants you to mature. And we don't understand that. We are so busy getting mad at God that we haven't taken a look at ourselves and say, you know what, man, I need to grow in this. My question tonight is this: how do you plan to get to your next level if you can't handle it? What good would it be for God to elevate you to the place that you're praying for if your character cannot handle where your gift can take you? What good is that? If God was to open the door that your gift got you, if you became a millionaire and he put you over all these people and he put you at a place where only he can keep you, now your character you have to be who you really are. Can your character keep you where your gift can take you? Can your character keep you? Come on, I want us to understand something. If God was to elevate you, would you be ready to handle it? And I know some of us, we saying, yeah, but truthfully, if you can't handle where you are right now, you wouldn't be able to handle it if God was to bless you with it. Because your mind not ready, your attitude not ready. I want us to understand that to progress we are in the process, but we have to make progress. We have to grow. We have to mature. We have to come to a place where this is what they say. The old folks say, you got to be able to take a licking and keep on ticking. You got to be able to handle some stuff. You got to be able to stand in the midst of some stuff, even though it's hard, even though it's tough. He says, count it all joy. Why? Because there's a purpose in the reason why I'm going through what I'm going through. So I don't have to complain because it's a significant purpose in me doing. I don't have to get frustrated because it's a significant purpose. This is a reason why I'm going through. That's why I'm not happy. I may not be happy while I'm going through it, but I'm joyful while I'm going through it. I'm joyful because I understand there is a greater purpose for me to be dealing with what I'm dealing with. I want us to understand tough love. God will allow pain to teach us the lessons that we need to mature and grow up. Let patience have her perfect work, that you may come to be mature, lacking in nothing. Too many times we as Christians are so strong spiritually, but we lacking. Lacking in other areas in our life. And am I pointing the finger? Am I being judgmental tonight? No. My understanding for tonight is that we have got to understand that progression has to come from us, or else you know what will happen to us? We'll find ourselves going through the same. Have you ever seen that? Going through the same cycle of events and don't understand why? It's because if you are in the second grade and you cannot pass the second grade test, there is no way they can promote you to the third grade. And what ends up happening is we got a whole lot of Christians that have been in church for 20 years, but still at a second grade level education. And we go through the same stuff over and over and over and over again until you learn we've got to mature. We've got to progress, or we're going to go through the same process of events. Are y'all catching that tonight? We have got to learn to progress while you are in the process so that you can progress. Don't experience pain for nothing. As I leave you tonight, don't experience your pain for nothing. Don't go through this problem for nothing. Learn from it, grow from it, or guess what? You will see it again. Amen. If I could leave us with anything tonight, we got to learn to progress through our process. So say that after me. Say, I got to progress through my process. All right. And thank you guys for tuning in once again. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. It is a blessing. It is a pleasure to have you guys. Visit us on our website, www.thegodmovement.com, to learn more about our ministry and what we do, where we're located in Houston, and all of that good stuff. Be blessed. I will see you guys next week, and I will see you guys the next time you turn on one of my videos. Thank you so much.